Good evening and happy Monday, everyone, and welcome to, I don't know, whatever, 78, 79, whatever episode this is of my weekly GEMP game review series. I'm your host, Chris Gogolin. Thank you for joining us on this fun Monday night here as we move into April and start looking at some upcoming events. For those of you who missed the live stream yesterday, we're going to talk about the MPC bracket that was released, which you can find on the forums. Just go to the old Players Committee forums here. Match Play Championship. Give that a little click. MPC bracket. Bam, right there. What do we got? Hey, look, it's a link to a bracket. And the times are showing up in the wrong time zone. Again. It's a common issue. It's been ticking me off left and right. Because it'll show up as 8 o'clock, and then like if I hit like refresh, sometimes it changes and it says 9, sometimes then it changes back. It's a big giant pain in the ass. So yes, all games start at 9 and 1 o'clock. So if you are looking at it and it says this, well, your game starts an hour after whatever this says. But we got the bracket up, and we'll take a look at that in just a second here. I do want to take a quick peek through the lobby. We got, because there's a pretty good game just starting here between Stevie Getz and Golden God. It's Legend and ISB. We can jump into that one in a few minutes. We'll catch up, give them a couple minutes here to get set up and get everything off and running. This game literally just started. See if there's anything else going on in the some quarantine leagues. All right, so let's talk about the MPC bracket. You can fill out your prediction. Make sure to do that because will be prizes. We'll have some foils and stuff like that. Takes a few minutes just to figure it out. Predict your winners, and then you get to be on the old prediction leaderboard. Oh, it's gonna make me sign in. Looks like we got quite a few brackets so far. Yeah, we're up to 50, almost 20 brackets. A couple still have to be finished. Hayes Hunter seems like a popular pick, as does Justin Desai. No surprise there. Obviously, with them, being as great players as they are over as long as they've been doing it, certainly no surprise that they would probably be the two most popular choices to win the event, including I'm taking Hayes. I have Hayes and Justin in the finals. Hayes winning by 7 was my prediction. We'll see if it happens. But yeah, there's a lot going on in the bracket. We went through the individual regions yesterday, talked about some of the different potential matchups, and the levels of talent. This year's bracket certainly has a bit more talent than we've had in previous years, due likely to the fact that there's no travel cost to it because it's all being played online. We even have a couple of European players and a couple of African players. Grady and Seth playing from Africa, and we've got Sean from Europe, and is he the only European? Sean Mackin? I feel like there's another European. Maybe not. Maybe he is the only one. We also do have a New Zealander, MHT, playing one of his first major events in the last couple of years. So certainly a very diverse field. Yeah, it looks like we do only have just the one European player. I guess Sean's just going to stay up late and rough it if he makes it into round 2. Maybe he's not expecting to make it to round 2. Maybe he's thinking, well, I'm going to play and I'm going to have some fun and I'm going to see how it goes. But certainly should be an interesting tournament. Again, make sure to fill out your prediction brackets while you can. You have until Friday the 17th to complete those. We'll have some cool foils for the winners. Hopefully in just another week or two, I should have a whole plethora of foils from the UK and from Team Wales for the February and March OCS uh, participants. We'll go back and take a quick peek at that. Is it in? I think maybe it's in here. Did I do it in here? Yeah, we got the Nima Shipyard Outpost. We've got Dooku's lightsaber. Trying to get these out. I was planning on handing them out in person at the MPC. I believe we're still on that same timeline for getting them. Did I put it in here? Qualified? Yes. Both Justin and Eric Hunter qualified in the month of March. Congratulations to them, both going 11 and 1. Certainly some drama down the end. Oh, Menzel's playing too. Duh. Thank you, Kevin. We were talking earlier about that. Yeah. So we've got 2 European players, 2 African players, and 1 New Zealand player. So we've got four continents represented. I had hoped maybe Drew would play from. He's in China right now, so maybe Drew would have played from Asia. And then I don't think we have any South American. Maybe we have some South American players. I just don't know any South American players. Um, and unless you're on a research expedition in Antarctica, it's gonna be hard to get all 7 continents together. But well, maybe you never know. We got some scientific people in this community. You never know. One of them might be on a scientific expedition or some type of, I don't know, Antarctic cruise thing. I don't know. But anywho, yeah. So congratulations to Justin and Eric on qualifying with their 11 and ones. Paul Myers narrowly missed out on the tiebreaker. He was also 11 and 1, and it really came down to the very, very end. Uh, Eric finished 43.17%. Paul finished 42.96%. Um, and I think literally Eric played won a game against someone Paul played. So it was a double flip flop. They both, Eric picked up the points and Paul lost points and their tiebreakers. It was just kind of enough to squeak ahead of him there. So they will both move on. Tom Damon, our 12 and 0 from February, and Jared Napolitano, who also made the finals of the GEMP PC, which took place over the weekend, are also already qualified. And Jared will be playing also in the MPC. I believe he is a 5 seed in his bracket up here. Yep, he's in the Justin Desai bracket. So Jared taking on Seth from Africa, and then the winner of this Charlie Brandon game will take on this winner here on their way to trying to get through Justin Desai. Found the list of OCS season pass holder. Is there a month-to-month participant list posted anywhere? No, there is not, because there's only like 1 or 2 people who sign up month-to-month, and it's usually not the same people. And I have not made a separate list for that because, well, it's just not worth creating a separate thread just to put one person's name up. So if there's the one guy you don't know signing up for it, I vetted him. It's not somebody playing on an alt account or anything like that. But yeah, their real name and whatnot. Is somebody you're concerned about, curious about, Mike? Feel free to let me know in the chat. We'll take a look. Let's go look. Who's in the OCS? That's not on the season pass list. I think it's just Lost Tome this month, who is a player from Central PA, who is kind of a returning player to the game. From what I remember from reading some of his posts on the Facebook face groups, Star Wars groups, he's been out of the game for a little while, and he's kind of making his way back, and kind of found this as a fun thing to pick up. Yeah, Lost Home. I forget his actual name. I looked it up the other day. But yeah, he's from Central Pennsylvania. It's not like a name you've ever heard of before. Someone's just playing under a different account or something like that. He's a returning player from, probably like the Decipher days. Someone who's just sort of a very casual kind of kitchen table guy, making his way back. Since we already have this up, Just Shy is our current leader. Not for too much longer, but congratulations, Kyle, on playing all 12 games already in just 6 days. He is the first one finished for the month, and he can now spend the next 10 days focusing solely on his MPC preparation. But very likely right here, 7 and 0, a Rebel Spy. Certainly trying to make a strong run for it. He's also a number one seed in his particular bracket for the match play championship. Stubley here, this is what, 6 and 2. If he wins out and gets the 10 and 2, he can at least be in the conversation. But we haven't seen anybody with 2 losses qualify yet. We've had a 12-0, 11 and 1, and then a couple of 11 and 1s. Um, and obviously things are going to get a little harder here. You got JNAP, who already qualified, still sitting at 5 and 1, as is Coffee Pass. He can still play spoiler, mess up other people, possibly bump somebody down to the second and third spots. And if somebody else makes a run, there's always those at-large bids that could open up. Retwin sitting at 4 and 0 right there. Okay, so Marines also in a rush to get all 12 of his games done. He's only got 3 games left to see if he can join the club. Because for as many people who have gone 12 and 0, there's also an interesting club of people who have gone 0 and 12. I kid, but it's always interesting that people like to use the OCS to test out new decks because they want to play decks in a competitive environment to find out if they work or not. And sometimes that takes 2 or 3 games to realize, like, all right, let me tweak some stuff, let me adjust some stuff to figure out, hey, it didn't work, or whatever the situation may be. Try and change some cards, fix some stuff, and see what happens from there. I know I was doing that myself a little bit the first year. I think I was like kept going 7 and 5 for a couple months, and it was just like because I was just trying out new decks, but I wasn't playing any games other than OCS games. I just didn't have the time, so it was like, all right, this is gonna be my play testing, and yeah, certainly came up a couple like 3 points or 4 points short at the end of missing out on an at-large bid, likely due to using the OCS for playtesting. Not going to recommend that strategy. We certainly have the quarantine leagues, which Batmouse has been creating. They are a little bit more competitive, as well as these Saturday tournaments that he's been running. It's kind of hard because they start West Coast time at when it's like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon for them, and they try and get 4 games in, which is pretty tough to commit to. Um, it already takes an hour and a half or so to play, up to 2 hours maybe sometimes to play a game on GEMP. And, to get 4 games in, it's an 8-hour commitment on, a random Saturday if you haven't planned it in advance. But, something to keep in mind if you're trying to keep get some competitive Star Wars in, keep your Saturdays open for some of Batmouse's tournaments. All right. We give them a couple turns to set up here. Let's pop in, see what's going on. Legend versus ISB. All right, so Steve's got Legend. He's going to space to try and clear Mara, who's sitting pretty with Captain Kurgi, one of the puck cards we don't see all that often. He does something aboard the Thunder Flare. During your turn, if out of battleground, peek at top card of opponent's reserve deck. If it's a character, reveal it and they lose a force. And if it happens to be a rebel, you also place it on the used pile. So if you happen to top deck against like Jedi Luke decks or something like that, make them lose a force and then move the Destiny so they can't draw it for Destiny. He's got Holdo. He adds Lando. He does not battle into Mara's ship here. And then he's got Rey, Leia, and Rose set up over here holding a second battleground. So he's not flipped yet. When he does flip, this will become a drain of 2. He's retrieving one with Rose. He's got 2 Battle Destiny here and possibly leaderships to work with Holdo to try and limit this, because Kurgi is a pilot. So Mara's ship is adding a Battle Destiny there. We've got good old Gideon over here. All Imperials deploy -1 at sites, so that helps him get his guys out nice and cheap. He's got a third marker going, which is drain +1. And it looks like he put security precautions on that to get some extra force activation. And then he went IAO, looks like, to get the docking bay. So I'm guessing he did this, and he started this as his extra site with security precautions. Then we got an IAO for a docking bay. Two Hoth locations could be possibly playing Decree or something to cut down on some force drain bonuses, kill some lightsaber bonuses. He does have his 4 agents out. Let's see who we got piled up here on the Blizzard Walker. We've got Callus, Pole Treatum, and a Stormtrooper Patrol. So Callus is adding a Destiny because he's with an ISB agent. Pole is subtracting from attrition. And the Stormtrooper Patrol isn't really doing anything because I'm making Rebels deploy +1. But he does happen to be another agent because he has that keyword Rebel. He's a keyword ISB agent. So Charlie's got a nice drain to 3 that he's not paying for because he currently has battle plan satisfied. Had to see which one was on the table. And now Steve's got set up a drain of 1, which will possibly become a drain of 2, and then he's going to retrieve a card. So they're both doing about similar damage each set of turns. And we'll just have to see what they come up with now. There's a Vengeance. What does the Vengeance do? Whenever you win a battle, your opponent loses 1 force. Alright, that's good game text. Permanent pilot ability 2. It's actually a 7 deploy, like the Tyrant and Thunder Flare. So it gets a little bit cheaper there. That's not bad. And it's Destiny 2. And there's a Big Daddy Thrawn. So he's adding a Battle Destiny. Now Mara is no longer adding a Battle Destiny because that ship is not alone. But he does get the second Destiny back with Thrawn. So 16 power, 2 Battle Destiny versus 8 power and 2 Battle Destiny. But he's going to pass, and he's not going to battle either. Whether he's waiting to see if his opponent will battle into him, whether he's trying to get just enough extra power that he couldn't squeeze out this turn, to maybe pull off like an Overwhelmed or something. Legend's a tricky one. Excuse me. Legend is a tricky one to try and figure out sometimes when the right time to battle is and when not to battle. So we'll get the drain of 1 and the retrieval of 1, and we do see an imp command go away. So he's going to get some destiny verification. Oh, and there's Ahsoka. Ahsoka Tano. Subtracts 1 from destiny draws. She works even in space. She also stops overwhelmed. So, because you have to, unless they have a Jedi or I think it's like a starship weapon or something. Subtract 1 opponent's destiny draws here. She works anywhere. And there comes a Finn as a passenger. So he's adding a few more power to get it up to 11 now. Also adds an couple extra forfeit. And Steve did just retrieve the Destiny Adder card. And Kurji's going to take a peek. That is some interesting information to keep being able to do with Kurji every turn and just keep peeking at your opponent's lost pile. I'm sorry, reserve deck. Um, just because you don't get to move the card to make him lose force, you're still gaining information, and that's can be pretty valuable if you're thinking like, do I want to battle here? What guy do I want to swing at? Am I worried about him doing something back to me? And it's like, well, what's sitting there? So he top decks a Rescue in the Clouds, Qui-Gon, and a Projection. Projection certainly would have been helpful to minimize that drain a little bit. I'm sure Steve would also like to get to a third battleground if possible, so he can set up for that. 5d6 is going to come down. ISB is flipped, so that will subtract 1 from the drain, which is currently only 1. He does some stuff at Scomp Links, but I don't believe... No Scomp Link at Maz's Castle. Do we have Scomp Links at other sites? Nope. Do any of the Episode 7 sites have Scomp Links? I don't know. Honestly, I've never looked that carefully. So Charlie's certainly ahead right now. He's kind of content to just sit on his lead. He's now reduced his opponent. He's doing 3 damage a turn with his drain at the 3rd marker. He's minimized his opponent's damage basically down to 0. His opponent's retrieving a card, offsetting a little bit of that. But he's still basically ahead 2 force a turn. And as far as overall life counts go, he's got 30 plus 7 in hand, whereas Steve has 20 plus 13 in hand. So Charlie's got himself a 4-card lead right now, and he's gaining on that, improving on that 2 points per turn. Yeah. Yep, and Charlie's just going to draw. So right now we got a good old-fashioned staring contest. Not the most exciting game to spectate, but there's certainly a few other people hanging out. And this is one of those situations where, I talk about it all the time, where you have to have the patience sometimes. Charlie has a lead. He's got better board position. He doesn't need to be the one to force the action. Steve is the one who's behind. He's losing the damage race. He's the one who has to do something to change the status quo. Because if the game continues like this, excuse me, um, you know, Charlie wins. Charlie does 2 points of damage a turn for 12 or 15 more turns, uh, you know, and Steve loses. It'll take forever, but these guys are actually playing at a pretty good pace here. They're only 10 minutes into their timers, and we're already on turn 5. There are some players who, 10 minutes into their timer, they haven't even finished their first turn yet. So there's a Poe Dameron. So he's using a Brave Resistance. He's sending Ray from hand back. There's a Poe aboard the Profundity, so that's adding 3 more power and another Destiny. So now he's got 3 Battle Destiny there. We know Charlie's got commands because he's already drawn one. He's got one sitting on his lost pile, rather. I would assume in a deck like this, he's probably running 3 commands. You've got a handful of admirals and veers and whatnot. So, oh, he did not retrieve with Rose. He forgot to do that, went right past his control phase into his deploy phase. So he will get back to projection for winning the battle. Here comes the Rebel leadership to limit his opponent to 1 draw. It will get grabbed. Charlie's going to force push to put 2 cards from hand down to pick up this 1 card that's there. I wonder if he was looking, if he didn't have a command, if he thought one was in his force pile. But it's the force maybe he just used. I don't know, I guess we'll find out. Maybe it was the bottom card. I know he was saying something earlier about a docking bay being in his force pile. There's him getting pretty good at this. This will add 2 Battle Destiny because Finn is with Poe and Rey. And there's the imp command to limit. Oh, he had already grabbed command. I didn't even see that over there. So he had already grabbed the command. So he had a force push to get the extra force to then pay for it. Thanks, Gordon. I'll just pick that up too. Excellent. Was not paying attention there to that. Steve does sense the command, though, with Luke. There is no try is out, so he'll have to lose the sense and 2. But it does mean he's going to draw 5 Battle Destiny here. And he pitches a Bail Organa from hand and a Fly Casual from hand. And now we're going to get 5 Battle Destiny. I'm going to guess his total is going to be north of 15. Probably close to 20 at this rate. But I'm going to say it's over 15. We're already into 14. He might break 20. There's 19. He's going to be over 20. He's going to get to like 23, 24. This might just be like a full clear here. Wow. That is impressive. 24 for a total with 5 Battle Destiny. And his opponent draws a 2, which gets subtracted by 1. And he is immune to less than 5 because of Poe. So Steve will lose nothing. But he opts to forfeit Lando, even though he didn't need to. Perhaps he wanted to lose Lando so he could redeploy Lando somewhere else. Or he just screwed up and didn't realize that his ship was immune and clicked the wrong button. Yeah, he did want to make sure that the sense went through, but more importantly, doesn't necessarily need to flip with Luke just then. He also didn't subtract from power with Luke either, did he? I don't think he did that either. Nope. He could have subtracted 2 from power. Not that it would have made a whole big difference because, again, he still had a crap ton of forfeit. I mean, the ship and Thrawn are 15. Kurgi was, what, another 5? And Mara's ship, so 27. And he only lost the battle by 20. So not like that 2 power would have made a big difference. But you should get in the habit, I guess, of making sure you use those mechanics. Obviously Steve, incredible player, 2-time NPC champion. He can read the math. He can do the math. He knows exactly. I'm just going to clear everything anyway. But for newer players or players just trying to get themselves in good habits, uh, those are little actions that you do want to make sure that you take advantage of each turn. All right, Alright, so he's going to have to pay to drain now and probably for the rest of the game because I don't see him necessarily coming back through this. That may have been the other reason he lost Lando, just losing him while he can so Lando doesn't end up going out of play because it's unlikely Charlie's coming back to battle here anytime soon. He's still getting 2 Battle Destiny. He's subtracting 1 from his opponent's draws. It's 14 power. It's immune to less than 5. Uh, he's already gotten rid of Thrawn and, you know, Star Destroyer and Mara. So pitch and Lando there. Probably just more of a, again, looking for a way to redeploy him to the ground later or just to avoid having to continue to pay his maintenance cost every turn. It's like if you're going to lose him anyway, you'd rather lose him in a battle while you can than have him go out of play. It's probably running 2 Landos in a deck like this, I would think. So, all right, Charlie's going to use the Death Squadron assignment to deploy an Imperial to a Hoth location, and he's going to use that to get Colonel Wolfie here. Because when he's deployed, he gets to activate extra force. So he activated 4. Now he'll deploy Blizzard 2, and he'll put Veers in it. Veers will only cost 2, and there's evacs for 1, taking advantage of that Imperial deploy cheaper thing from the Imperial Square here. Evacs also... this evacs doesn't do anything. Imperial starships may move to the Death Stars or react. Ooh. Really, he just forfeits for 7. Charlie goes to his draw phase, not battling. And he does not have any agents to retrieve. Hasn't lost any agents yet. Steve's going to take this opportunity to put Walkling out of play. He's going to retrieve Rose, so he's going to put a 5 where he can track it. Oh, looks like we skipped past move phase. Charlie just realized he forgot to put the droid inside, so it looks like we're going to get a revert here. Steve being nice. Let's him move the droid inside, where he will maintain some immunity, not be hit. No, wait, I think we missed the opportunity for Steve to Walkling. Put the 5. No, they're going to play it as it is. Okay. Usually when you revert, you go back through all the actions that took place. Alright, so we're going to get a drain and 1 in space. He'll use I Think I Can Handle Myself, which is an amazing interrupt because there are more and more good characters to pair that with. Just one of the things that makes Ahsoka Tano even better. And there's a Chewie with Bowcaster. Let's see if Charlie's got a trample, because he's going to need it. I'm going to guess there's a pretty good chance Steve's got a nice big pile of High Destiny. There's a solo to go along with it. So we certainly have a plethora of Resistance characters here now. Again, he doesn't retrieve with Rose. Am I reading something wrong here? Control phase, add a battleground site, Resistance character on table, retrieve 1 force. Yeah, Resistance character, Resistance character. So, and now he will double check his destinies here, putting Luke out of play, flips his objective. That's going to increase his force drains now. He moves both cards to his force pile, so I guess he didn't like what he saw. And now we'll see if Chewie can get it done. Oof. So that's a miss. But 5d6 is getting in some work. He drew a 0, so he retrieved a force, and then he drew a 4, so he got to draw the top card of his reserve deck. Because the Walker has the Scomp Link. Now, Steve still has quite a bit of power, but he is giving Charlie some card draws here. There's a 5 and a 1. So he will have 6. It will crack the immunity. I'll get him to 26 total. And we'll see what Charlie can draw here. Charlie draws a 4. Steve's going to make him redraw it using the objective. He draws a 1. And a 5. So he's got a 6 total there. And looking at all the possibilities here, probably going to end up losing Leia. You could lose Rey. You could lose Rey. She's not hitting anybody. Solo still adds Destiny Win with Chewie. Keep Leia to do your retrieval. Yeah, Rey makes more sense. Oh, hey, thanks, Dan. See, you congratulate me for things like this, and then you pick me to like lose in the second round of the MPC. So I don't know what to think, Dan. You're sending me mixed signals here. Ironically enough, both you and Jerry picked me to lose in the second round of the MPC. So either you guys both know something I don't, or I need to stop like sending. First off, he's off my list. Not sending Jerry any more snack cakes. Uh, but you picked against me in the GEM PC, and again, again in the match play. So I don't know what to think, Dan. You were mad because I put you against Adam. I didn't put you against Adam. Bill put you against Adam. So Darkseid still has this drain of 3 going for him. They're paying for it. But the question is do they have a big enough lead here that they can kind of run out the clock on this situation? So still, oh, there's the decree. So he found both domination and non-virtual decree. He's got an image of the Dark Lord. I hope he's got a gift. He might be. So between this canceling the force drain bonuses, let's recap in case you're not familiar with non-virtual decree. Whenever you control any 2 rebel-based locations or planet Slayton 2 systems, the effects of revolution and all opponents' force drain bonuses are canceled. So the force drain bonus from the objective that makes these drains bigger is canceled if he controls 2 rebel-based locations, which he's probably going to split some of these people up. And he'll control these 2 locations. So this will go back to being a drain of 1. And this, once Blizzard 2 and Veers are dead, will go back to being will be a drain of 0. Because the bonus will be canceled. And so it'll be up to Charlie here again just to sit on his lead, try and get to these. Now he's adding 1 to his drains because of the ISB objective as well. So, I mean, he can pay and drain 3 and 2 for a while, while the majority of Steve's characters are otherwise occupied. We might see, you know, a Qui-Gon or somebody be able to show up, but yeah. Steve, looks like Charlie's going to just go for broke here, try and get himself out of trouble before Steve can add any more power or any additional destinies or anything. Also, he's not letting him retrieve by doing this too. He doesn't let him retrieve with Leia for initiating the battle. But Chewie does hit the Blizzard Walker and make it forfeit 0. There's a 5. He'll make him redraw that. Is he going to get a 1 and a 4 here? There's the 1 again. What did he draw the first time? I think it was a 4. I think it was a dark time. Why do I have myself losing to Desai in the final 4? I'm realistic. And while I'm perfectly content and confident in my ability to beat Justin in single games, winning a match against Justin is something I have not done yet. Single games? Yes. I have beaten Justin Desai in single games. I have not beat Justin in a match yet, though. Usually, when we the two times we've played in the NPC, I've won the first game, I think, and then lost the second game by more. So I know that happened at least 1 year. I don't know if that happened both years, but yeah. So, and that's kind of a best of both worlds situation. I picked myself to the final 4. That's awesome. Making the final 4 of the NPC again. That would be great. Certainly pick up some fantasy points for my bracket along the way. If I lose to Justin there, okay, yeah, it sucks, but at least I, made the final 4. And if I don't lose to Justin and I beat him, or if God forbid Justin had lost earlier in the tournament, I mean, perhaps I get to play somebody else and beat them. Well, then I'm in the finals, and then that's a win. So that's a win-win either way for me. So, all right. So Charlie's gonna slide some people over. A couple of guys get out. He's got Poultrytum and Callus still together on Blizzard 4, so that's a drain of 2 there. And he will retrieve his officer evacs. Steve's still yet to pull aim high, which he finally does now to make him start paying for those. And then he's got to pay upkeep on the Blizzard 4. Now it's going to see what Steve has left. Because right now, Charlie's got 19 and 4. He's got 23 cards left. He's doing 5 damage a turn and possibly retrieving an ISB agent or 2 to offset any damage his opponent does. While on the other side, it's a drain of 1, that's a drain of 0, and that's a 1 retrieval from Rose, if he remembers. And I have you losing to Adam. That makes me say, yes, I do, because you picked my bracket. No, I don't know. All right, he does retrieve with Rose. Prove me wrong, Dan. That's what I'll say. Prove me wrong. Go back, watch some replays, do some studying, study up on Adam Trunzo and his deck choices and his playing habits. Interesting. So Steve's going to initiate battle. Tarkin's there with 2 agents, so Tarkin can cancel a Destiny. He swings with the 4. He's going to let it go. So Tarkin's hit. And he does have a retrieval option. Now, His other option here is to use his objective, peek at the two cards, put them both in his reserve deck. Yep. And Tarkin will cancel that one, but he'll still get a Battle Destiny draw in. It's another 4. Okay. So Tarkin and the Patrol will probably die here. He did remember to pull aim high, so when he loses this battle here, his opponent cannot retrieve for domination. Oh, we see a 4th Imperial Command. Okay. So no retrieval from the domination. Lando's going to go because he's got nothing left to pay upkeep for him anyway. There goes Tarkin. And there goes the Trooper. So you got Palpatine and Colonel Wolfie left. And he knows he's got some pretty high destiny sitting on top, so it's very likely he could swing and hit the Emperor in a future battle. Excuse me. Dinner's repeating on me a little bit tonight. I apologize for that if you guys can hear that. All right. Charlie pays for the drain at the docking pay. He's got to keep the pressure up. It's a drain of 2, so it's obviously worth doing. But he needs more men. And as long as Rey lives here, there you go. There's a Vader Enforcer, and he only costs 5. Makes you wonder where all your spies are to go kick this Gideon guy right in the face. And there's an Ice Heart. I believe he lost the Hujix earlier, so it is in his lost pile. We'll see if Charlie remembers that and pulls the solo shield, the Watch Your Step shield. Charlie's just going to pass. Interesting. That I'm not sure I agree with. You've got the advantage. He hits one of your guys. You lose the other one. You still have a guy or two left. But by Rey still being there and blocking it, now these drains get their bonuses. So this is 1 and this is 2, so you're losing 2 extra cards. Also, he didn't have any force saved left, so he couldn't retrieve for hitting with Rey, which he can now. He can also deploy somebody else to back her up if he has anybody else left. I feel like this works out much better for Steve in that situation, Charlie not battling. There goes a trample, there goes a command. Now Rose gets a retrieval, gets the 5 back. And slowly but surely, the longer Rey and whoever live and keep that site blocked, the better chance Steve has. There's a Kenobi. See, you gave him backup. If you're Steve, you almost don't want to necessarily need to battle here, because now it's actually working in your favor. You're draining for 3, he's draining for 2. You're both retrieving 1. So now Steve's the one coming out ahead in this situation. And he is going to move both cards to his force pile and then just go to draw phase. Yep. Draw a couple cards, leave force, so if you need to retrieve with Walkling or with Rey's lightsaber for hitting somebody, you can. Maybe Charlie was thinking he didn't have enough force to do everything he wanted the turn before. Because if he battled and then he wanted to retrieve with domination and then he wanted to retrieve a guy with his objective and still pay for Blizzard 4, he might have been 1 force short for all that. So maybe he was just hoping Steve didn't have another guy in hand. That's what I'll have to think. Is that he wanted to make sure he was going to get to retrieve everything. He's got the Blizzard Scout one with General Navarre. When deployed, peek at top card of any reserve deck. He also deploys -1 to Hoth, and then another -1 from the site. So that's a nice little cheap general. Steve's going to put Walkling on a play to get the rescue back. Put the 5 right where on the bottom where he can track it now. Then he can put some solid destinies on top of it. Nope, he's just going to shuffle some stuff around. He's just going to move the Emperor away. Yep. Let's see if the Emperor wants to take anybody with him. But there's a weapons display, so Steve's going to get another retrieval off of this. He's going to move Vader away too. Yeah, I wouldn't. I like that. I don't like leaving the Emperor alone in that situation. There easily could be another guy floating around, and he's going to pick up some people and put some people back. Now this, during battle, if with your AT-AT cancel game text of an opponent's character present, I'm pretty sure earlier that Steve did retrieve Chewie. He may also have a Jedi left to take him into hand or something. First things first. Do it by the numbers. Don't get excited. Don't skip your phases. Don't get so excited about deploying all the stuff that you jump right past your 4 strains and your retrieval. That's +1 from I think I can handle myself, so that's 4 damage. Again, using that card while he can. The drain bonus not canceled. Now, if Steve needs to, if he doesn't want to battle into this, and I can't say that I blame him, he easily could just shuffle these 2 guys over here, and then, yes, he'll eat a bigger drain. If he has a shield pull with the perimeter scan or something, which we've seen him draw before, he could end up getting resistance, because he'll be at 3 battlegrounds. Yep, just going to move away. But even if he doesn't, he's still winning the damage race, and most importantly, he's not paying to drain. Charlie's down to just 10 life force here, while Steve is comfortably at 16 with all those little bits of retrieval between the weapons display, the rows. That kind of stuff is starting to add. The Walkling he put out of play. So that kind of stuff is starting to add up. This game is slowly tilting in Steve's favor. And now he's setting up destiny draws. Possibly getting himself an opportunity to find that perimeter scan. Putting some 5s back in the process. But yeah, if you can find a perimeter scan to set up resistance. Or ultimatum, sorry. Charlie is going to be in trouble. And there's the perimeter scan that he was looking for. Yep. There's the ultimatum. So now he's paying 3 to do 2 points of damage here, of which his opponent is retrieving 1. So every turn he nets 1 point of damage off of Steve. But Steve is doing 3, well, he's retrieving an agent, so it's 2-1 now in Steve's favor every turn, every sequence of turns, in terms of the damage race. Plus any optional retrieval Steve happens to get along the way from Ray, or if he finds, or Leia, if he gets to initiate any battles. And Steve is just Charlie's gonna scoop it because he realizes he's got nothing else left really, and he's just gonna get slowly grinded out. So he's gonna give the game to Steve and move on to something else. Oh, we got an OCS game going on. Let's take a quick peek at this one. Looks like it's IE versus Throne Room, which usually doesn't go well for IE. And we see all. So he's on the 0 side. That's not good. A bunch of troopers just got killed. That's also not good. He may flip back here, though, by killing Anakin there. He does flip back because he controls 3 and his opponent controls less than 3. And it does look like this is occupation over here. Yep. The question is can he stay flipped? Because honestly, his opponent, Ryan here, has ways, even if he just moved, like move Luke here, and then he controls and deploy somebody here or whatever, he can block a site or 2 enough to flip him and then shuffle everybody else around. It's one of the hard things about entanglements. When a deck like Throne Room comes after it and starts taking over your sites, it can be pretty tough. And it's Ryan, the guy who will beat me. You know what? You're right. You're right. How did Vader and Isar come down for -1? He needs to. Oh, yes. Square, whatever. Yep, it's the Imperial Square site. Okay. Yeah, the guy who will beat me in the MPs. Ryan's a good player, not going to lie. Ryan was in the OCS top 16 last year, as was I. And Ryan did make top 8 at the Endor Grand Prix last year. A lot of good players this year. A lot of good players. It'll be a fun event. I'm glad we're able to still do it, thanks to the coronavirus and our hotel being canceled. I'm glad we're able to still put something together. Hopefully I don't have to add any more rules. I'm sure I will between now and then. I'm sure somebody else will ask another question that I'll have to specifically spell out in crayon for somebody. And there is the Qui-Gon from Ryan. So, yep, now he can just shuffle some people over. He moves to the Desert Heart. And then consolidates. It's an interesting move by Ryan because now his guys are stuck there. requires +1 land speed, and these guys do not have, yeah, don't have +1 land speed. Except for Jawas. So if you're looking from Andrew's point of view, sorry, I couldn't remember Andrew's name for a second. He's got a drain of 2 here. He can't drain at the system. He can't do occupation damage because of the objective. Now, what he can do, though, is he can move the trooper there. He can move the patrol here. Then he'll control 3 sites. He'll flip back. Then he just slides the second person over to each site. His opponent will pay to drain at these other sites. That's Leia's gun. Obviously, you don't want to tangle with that, with these low defense value people. So Andrew's going to have to keep moving and shaking a little bit. He's got to find a way to keep his objective flipped. And part of that may be... Oh, there's Colonel Wolf as well. Just might involve leaving some people hung out to dry. These guys are stuck here, but they can shuttle up to the Devastator. He has resistance out. There he goes. Now he flips. He controls his 3 locations again. His other option, of course, is if he has a GIC available, is just leave these guys because, you'll kill Hera in the process and you'll block a nice big drain. Ozzel shuttles up. I'm sure this trooper just moves over. Yep. And then it'll come down to what he wants to do here, whether he wants to shuttle both these guys up and give up a drain of 2 that his opponent will have to pay for, or if he will... Okay, that's what he is going to do, shuttle them up. Or if he was just going to leave them, let him get battled, gick the damage. Obviously, he can retrieve a trooper in the process here by being on the flip side. Another OCS game just started. Throne Room versus Black Sun. Taco Bill versus Jared. Throne Room versus Black Sun. I wonder if we played that at our last local that Bill drove up to. It was just 4 of us at our last local event. It was myself, Jared, Bill, and Matt Wadden. Oh, there's a dark time to cause a force loss. Ryan throws away a Wisa from hand. Okay. So Andrew certainly, he's got decent board position here. He finally got his opponent stuck in the old Desert Heart there. Who won that tournament? I don't remember. I think we were all 2 and 2. So it was just a matter of diff. Jared might have won that tournament. I don't remember offhand. That was back mid-January, so almost 3 months ago at this point. thank you guys for the shout out in the old lobby there about the other game getting started in the GEMP lobby. Oh, I got some packs. I guess the server clock changed. Yay! Bill's playing Throne Room. Jared's playing Black Sun. Okay. Throne Room usually favored in that matchup. And there's a BB-8 to add some additional damage. That's certainly going to... I mean, he was already taking 4 points a turn. Now he's taking 5. He can offset 1 with the Trooper Retrieval. So it's now a 4 force swing, and it's free damage he doesn't have to pay for. That may require Andrew to have to try and do something here. But he's going to get... This is going to be a big damage turn for him. Yeah, Ryan's going to pass this turn, and he's going to draw some cards. The other thing I did notice, too, he grabbed the Rescue in the Clouds. Oh, Gravel Storm! I was wondering if he had that. And he just draws a 1. For those of you not familiar with Gravel Storm, it is a premier card. Strikes at the Dune Siege, Unland Waste. Works at a few specific sites. Target opponent's character present. Draw Destiny. Target lost if Destiny greater than ability. What you can't see on the side here, because of the scan, is the Easter egg that says this card rocks. Get it? Rocks, Gravel. So clever, Decipher. That used to amuse the crap out of us when we were 15, though. Yeah, see, there's the escape pod combo. That's what I was nervous about him grabbing the rescue, is that he was going to miss being able to grab the escape pod combo. So now, with 3PO out, he's just going to kind of track that around, and he's just going to keep picking it up. Maybe every other turn. He may not be able to get to it this turn. He's got a few too many force left, although he's going to lose 6 cards just in drains. So he might get himself low enough to the point where he can just track that and 3PO it every turn and not take the 3 occupation damage. Again, it's still drain 2, drain 2, drain 1, drain 1. So it's 6 to 4 in terms of damage. And he's retrieving a trooper. So it's really 6 to 3 every sequence of turns. And Ryan's going to have to pay for his drains. So Andrew, if he can hang on and mitigate enough damage, he certainly, could hang in there for a little bit. Could be just long enough to do what he needs to. But if he had like a Tarkin's Orders or something too, where he could just like cancel one of these drains, that would be pretty hot. Especially when your opponent's paying for it. When they paid 3 to drain and then you just cancel it, it's just kind of like a little kick in the nuts. There's Barrack. He's going to shuttle some people back down. Luke hits one person. He draws 2 Destiny if they're moderately good. That's the other thing, though, too. Because of where the escape pod combo is, if he activates to it so he can 3PO it, he may not have enough cards. He's only going to have 3 cards underneath it. So he wouldn't be able to battle and draw 2 Destiny here. He may have to put Walkling out of play here in order to get extra cards below the escape pod combo. That's what I would do. I would put Walkling out of play. I would retrieve Lando. So then you've got 4 cards face down. And then the escape pod combo, which I think was actually the second card, and so he'll have 5 underneath it, which gives him enough to swing and draw with Hera, and then possibly if he drew a Luke or another 1, he might be able to redraw one, something there and have some room. But Ryan is not. And there's a dark time. Andrew drew almost everything, though. But he caused a forced loss, and now he'll get a retrieval off this. He gets Sergeant Wallen back. This one's going to be close. This is the point where Andrew just needs to hang on for dear life and hope he can just get through one more turn. He's got 11 cards in hand, too. There's a fairly good chance he's got a Gick. No drains. Here comes Obi going after the Emperor with Chewie. But he will not have enough to be able to battle in multiple locations. Well, he thinks the Emperor's going to get hit. It's just a hunch. Wen does check his destinies here. We'll see if he would get to retrieve, but he doesn't have any force available. That's not what you want to see when you're trying to shoot the Emperor. And that's going to miss. Does he have the Force Lightning in hand? Does he even play a Force Lightning? I don't know that you really would in this kind of deck. Yeah. Now, if Obi misses here, which he's going to because he's going to draw the 0 and then the escape pod. Oh, maybe not. He still misses. I guess the escape pod's his destiny. Did I? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it just was the bottom card. Maybe that's just it, plus the 2 he played last turn. So this is the escape pod then? Huh. Did he look for something? Alright, maybe I mistracked his deck. And they both play their starting interrupts to add to their destiny. Awesome. So Chewie's going to die. And he's going to peel 6 to keep the Emperor around, which you kind of have to do in this spot. If he loses the Emperor, then all he has to do is just move Qui-Gon over here, and he'll flip him back. So he's going to peel 6 cards. It's going to be a tactical support, barrier from hand, occupation, Tarkin's bounty. And he's got 1 more damage left to satisfy. Narthax and E-Web Blaster. He's going to put that last card down and pick a card up. Alright, maybe I did just miscount it from the turn before. If Ryan just picked up the escape pod combo again, he's in great shape. I'd like to believe that's what he was tracking and playing around. But I guess while I was talking, no force to move away though. He would need 2 to move, right? Yeah, he would need 2 because of the objective being on the flip side. That is true. There is the escape pod combo. So he'll get drained for 2, 1, and 1, so he'll lose 4. And he's going to be top decking all these cards. Right back into a pile of bad destiny. The funny thing is now is if Palpatine battles Obi, he swings at him, he's going to draw that Jedi Council Chamber again. He's going to have to pull a shield to shuffle or something. Because Ryan doesn't have any cards in hand. There's a trooper guy. And another trooper guy. Dark Jedi presence for the win! You know, he doesn't have the Hoojix, right? Yeah, there's the don't do that again to shuffle to get that. I mean, the 0 will still be in there, right? The Jedi Council Chamber is still going to be floating around in there. It's just not necessarily going to be up at the top. Although it is GEMP, so maybe I shouldn't say that too well. I don't know if you guys have experienced this. I know I have a dozen times where you look, you see the destinies in your reserve deck, it shuffles, you battle, and you draw the same 2 or 3 cards in the exact same order that they were in before you shuffled. Alright, so he will battle and get rid of Obi. Obi's just going to swing at one of the little troopers, and he's going to draw a 12 and obliterate Davin Felth. I remember how cool Davin Felth was when he came out. It was like, oh my god, he only deploys for 1. This guy's awesome. He's ability 2, and he deploys for 1. Oh, you can take that into hand. Yep. And he draws the Hoojix. Alright, so Obi goes, the troopers go, and the Emperor lives. And Luke is already on the table, so he's obviously no threat. But, importantly, it does give Ryan a card in his hand that he can cycle back to get his escape pod combo back into hand. And then Andrew can retrieve that trooper, because his objective is still flipped. And he just might have enough to hold on here. Just keep hanging on. Well, he drops Mahdi down as well to give him a 4th guy at that site. He knows the card in Ryan's hand is obviously... Yep, he's going to send Ozzel down too. He knows the card in his hand is Luke, which he can't deploy. And he hasn't really seen anything. He's seen a Jar Jar, but that was before he shuffled. So it's one of those things where you're just like, is there something, you know, that you'd be concerned about? He's going to pay. He's going to retrieve a trooper. He'll take Davin Felth back. Isn't this guy like... This guy's a better destiny. Take that guy. It's not topmost trooper. It's get any trooper. Don't take the guy who's a 2 and put him on top of your deck. Take the guy who's a 3 and put him on top of your deck. See, if you guys are paying attention, these are the little things that could make a difference. Yeah, if you're Ryan, you got to keep the pressure on. You got to keep paying a drain for as long as you can. goes the patrol from hand, and there goes Davenfeld right back off the top anyway. Okay, so the destiny doesn't matter because he just gets lost to the drain. In which case, then, if you're planning on losing to the drain off the top, then it really doesn't matter which guy you get. But good practice. Always put the guy with the highest destiny back when he's going to end up on top of your deck. Alright, here comes the big battle. He can hit one person, and then he can draw destiny. He'll get 2 destiny. Now he is also going against Barrick and Iroll here, and Barrick is the one who draws and subtracts. I gotta be honest, if I were Ryan, that's probably the guy I would have swung at more than Ozzel. The guy who's subtracting from my attrition and total power. That's just me. He draws the 1, which Hera will let him redraw. There's a 5, and then was this, is this the 7? Yeah. So he's got 12 there. There's a 4 from his opponent. That'll be enough to get rid of Hera. And then we'll see what he can draw and subtract with his biker scouts, and what that'll let him keep. It's a 3, so he's got to lose 9, huh? Mahdi and the patrol cover 9. Hey, look at that. And that's going to leave the 2 biker scouts together, staring down Luke. Yep. And then Ryan cycles the escape pod combo back into hand. Sometimes just, man, grabbing the wrong interrupt really bites you in the buttocks. See if he takes both guys or just leaves Leia by herself. Probably just Leia, right? Yep. Andrew doesn't have much left to work with here. So you're blocking a drain. You got her with her gun. As long as you leave a force to shoot it, you're in pretty decent shape here. I'm sure the thought process was he was grabbing the rescue to keep him from being able to use it to cycle to find cards like Escape Pod. But yeah, with 3PO hanging around there. Jared just hidden weapons Bill for a win. Well, congrats to Jared. I'm pulling off that trick. Hidden weapons is a strong card. Drain 2. Drain 2. Drain 1. If you're Andrew in this situation, you just... he takes that card into hand, whether he needs it or not. Move these 2 guys over here in front of Qui-Gon, because then you're blocking a drain of 2 as opposed to a drain of 1. Also doesn't let him retrieve if he initiates the battle. And the Retriever Trooper, and yeah, say go, because it's going to make it pretty hard for your opponent. He's got 9 cards left. If he wants to pay to drain, there's the Dark Time again to make him lose another force. That's also rough too. That, Ryan not being able to have a grabber for a Dark Time and getting hit with that. That's at least 3 times that we've seen so far. Now he's down to 8 cards left. If he possibly wants to pay, he can't. He's not going to end up paying the drain. He's going to have to just try and battle and try and clear. But you don't want these guys in front of Leia with the gun, obviously. So shuffle them back over here. Retrieve a trooper. say go. Oh, he shuttles the biker scouts up. Okay. Shuttles down Commander Desan. Yep, he's doing everything he possibly can to make sure that he stays flipped. And this can be the dangerous part of Imperial Entanglements is the amount of damage it can put out when it's up and running. If he had grabbed the escape pod combo, this game would have been over 2 turns ago. Because he in the extra 3 and 4 damage a turn from occupation would have been over. If you are playing Imperial Entanglements and you don't have 2 grabbers in your deck, you have to save your grabber for the escape pod combo. It's in every light side deck because it pulls the Hujix that everybody's playing in every light side deck. It's kind of a must have, a must grab. He drew a 6 to make Luke Rebel Scout immediately lost and then beat up on Anakin. Yeah, that's rough. That's brutal. That hidden weapons. You usually think of people getting captured and just taken off out of the battle, but you can draw that 6 sometimes, especially a Black Sun with guys, 4 or 5 Emperors. But these are the little things to practice, folks. Sometimes, you get into game situations like this, play it out, especially, as you're learning. Because doing things in the right order, the right sequence, really makes a big difference. I played an OCS game the other night against Matt Harrison Trainers coming back after a long layoff, and this exact situation here, except his timer was running really low. Trying to stay flipped, stay on the 0 side, or the 7 side to do the ping damage and whatnot, and he shuffled his people around in the wrong order and accidentally flipped himself back to the 0 side, and I was able to squeak out a win because of that. He didn't ask to revert. If he had asked, I might have let him. I don't know. Maybe. Probably. Maybe. But he didn't even ask. He was just like, oh, I fucked that up. And, yeah, off he went. Oh, he found the Odin Nestler to move Luke out of the... Okay. But that is a move phase action, so he will not be... He's not battling anywhere. He's blocking the drains, though. He's still going to get drained for 3. And he spends 2 force and moves Qui-Gon away into the desert. Now he's getting drained for 4. Oh, he found the cold feet to play the firepower shield. Too bad. I don't think Ryan has anything left to deploy at this point. Got to get in the mindset of not reverting everything for the NPC. He thought that would flip back because he would block 2 sites. Yeah, you have to control more than your opponent. So he by moving over here to control 1, he gives up control of 1. So he controls 2. You still control 2. By moving Luke over here and blocking 1, he controlled 1. His opponent controlled 1. It's certainly possible that that's what he was thinking. Is like, oh, if I move Luke over here or I move Qui-Gon over, that will, you know, flip him back, give me enough locations. He's got nothing left in hand again. But he did manage to block the damage. And Wendell peek, and if you can find the dark time, keep looping that dark time again and again and again, doing that extra ping damage. Yep. I don't know that he's trained in. Did he train in space yet? I didn't. Nope. He trained 2 at the Moisture Farm. He trained 1 at Moss Eisley. He did that trick and did a dark time. He didn't train in space. Does he remember that he didn't train in space? There you go. There's the space drain. And he gets rid of Corran Horn, a key character who could have been enough to block control of a location if he had had a way to get him into hand. I'm doing the math in my head, and it looks like Wen comes out ahead. Andrew just doesn't have enough characters left. I'm sorry, Ryan doesn't have enough characters left to block enough sites to control more than his opponent. If he clears here, he would. With 6 force left and no hand, you certainly don't need these guys up on the Devastator. Yep. There you go. He saw it. I was going to say, shuttle them down. You can pay him, move a guy over, too, if you want. Move Desan over or something. So now even if Luke clears these guys, he controls 2, still doesn't get flipped back. And he can't battle in both spots and swing in both spots because he doesn't have enough force left. And since he's drawn 2 Battle Destiny here because of Tarkin being with Wolf, who is a leader. Bam, leader. And it all comes back to the Gravel Storm. If he doesn't Gravel Storm BB-8, that was 4 turns ago, he'd have lost 4 ping damage, wouldn't have enough force to keep paying and moving people around. And Ryan sneaks out a win. Yep. So all he can do is battle, kill Wolf Yularen, Kill Tarkin. And hope he doesn't take any battle damage. But it won't matter, because if he doesn't flip him back, which I don't see how he can at this point. Oh, I think that is the dagger in the heart that he needed. And what a fitting way to end a game by drawing a sight for destiny. And Ryan will go ahead and concede. Congrats to Andrew on picking up a win here, and well played at the end, moving people around, shuffling everybody around in the right order to really capitalize on things. Andrew, if you ever watch this, save your grabber, man. Got to get that escape pod combo. If you grab that escape pod combo, this game's over 3 turns ago. And you have a much higher differential, which could be important in match play. So that is going to do it for tonight's show. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. I hope you had fun watching along. Be sure and do your fantasy brackets. Be sure to get your OCS games in. Get your MPC practice in. And check out Hollow Theater. Dan, is Hollow Theater on Wednesday this week or Thursday? I can't keep up. Uh, you guys keep moving it around. Who's your guest this week, Dan? We'll give you a plug. Even though you picked against me in the bracket, I'll give you a shout. Who's your guest this week? It will be on Wednesday unless Jerry is building a shed. Didn't he build one? That's what he built one last week. Maybe he has to put the roof on the shed. And the guest is me. Me? You guys want me? Well, whatever. We'll figure it out. Unless you have somebody. If you don't have a guest and you need a guest, you can always ask me. I never get tired of hearing the sound of my own voice, and hopefully you guys don't either. But you guys have a great night. Thank you for tuning in. Catch you next Monday.